Hey there LEGO fans, welcome back. Alex here. In this video we're going to be doing a build and review of the new Marvel Black Panther bust. This is set number 76215, contains 2,961 pieces and will retail for $350 US. Wow. So this is going to be on sale as of October 1st. It will be exclusively sold in LEGO stores as well as lego.com. Now what we'll do, of course, as always, is a time-lapse build, and then we'll give this thing a proper review. So let's go ahead and get started. And we are back, and here it is, guys. The bust of Black Panther is complete, and this thing is big. Just to make sure we have a comparison here with the size, here it is next to Venom and Carnage. As you can see next to these other heads, it just dwarfs them. So make no mistake that this thing is obviously very large. Now before I get into the build, let me go ahead and talk about the instruction booklets. You get 2 instruction booklets with this thing, which usually means you can build it alongside with a friend, but that is definitely not the case with this thing. It is more of a solo build, that is for sure. Though I will say late in booklet 2, you do build the wrists and the hands of the Black Panther bust, which will last about 35% of the build. So if somebody's okay with building that and not building the actual bust of Black Panther, then you can build alongside with a friend for some of the time. Otherwise, it is definitely a solo build. There is a little bit of information about the Black Panther inside the instruction booklet, as you would expect, as well as some information about the Wakandan technology as well, some notes by the designer, and then you're right into the build. I noticed that they don't have the sections numbered inside the booklet anymore. That was the first time I've seen that omission. Now I will say though that I'm thinking some people might expect some sort of mention to the late Chadwick Boseman, but there is nothing in here at all that mentions him. This is definitely all surrounding generally the Black Panther character. Now, to be honest, guys, a lot of people are going to be buying this because of its displayability, not its playability, which means a lot of us are going to derive a lot of value in the build experience. And I'm happy to tell you guys that the build experience on this thing was very good. Some people might be actually concerned about the piece count compared to the price point, it being relatively low. However, this thing has a lot of very large pieces. Well, I wouldn't say very large, but I would say on average, much larger than you would expect. And that results in the build going very, very fast. At least it feels like it goes really fast. When you start with the base and the shoulders, before you know it, the head is done. The only time that it really slowed down for me is when I was putting together the face, a lot of the plates on there, a lot more smaller pieces for that detail, which is what you expect. Other than that, it goes really well. Although I will say I didn't so much enjoy putting together the wrists and the hands. That was a little bit tedious for me. Other than that, it was absolutely fantastic. Now you might be thinking that this thing has a lot of empty area inside of it because of its size, but it does not. This thing actually has a very sizable core of snot elements or studs not on top that allow this all to come together very solidly. Now, yeah, there is going to be a little bit of gap or space between the paneling and elements on the face of the Black Panther bust. Other than that, this thing is very solid and very heavy. The fact that it comes together in these 3 sections means that you can actually display the Black Panther bust without the hands with the plaque by itself. I guess if space is a situation for you that you're dealing with, that might appeal to you. Or if you just like to have the hands on display without the bust, I don't know why you would, but you can definitely do that as well. But I'm guessing because of the amount of money that you'd spend on this, you definitely want it all together in one complete set. You'll also notice throughout the bust a lot of these translucent purple elements. These are supposed to represent the Wakandan vibranium technology, a really good job of spreading those around. However, I will say when you're looking close up at the bust, there's some cracks around it that you can kind of see inside, and there's a lot of bright colors, unfortunately, that you see. And I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it kind of bugged me. I think they could have just changed those to be black elements, and that would have solved the problem. Another thing that kind of bugged me also is that just behind the plaque, there's some very bright elements used. And I think, man, why couldn't they just use black all around? Why do they have to use these bright colors? I'm guessing there's a reason for it, but I'm not seeing the value it's bringing, especially when you're paying this much for a bust. You definitely want it to be all black or these translucent elements that they have representing the vibranium. Now, there are a few other details that I am going to take issue with, one of which is going to be the size of the fist of the bust. I think it's disproportionately small in comparison to the overall size of the head and shoulders. I think it should be just a little bit bigger there. However, I will say I love the fingers on each hand. They extend very well. They're very flexible. However, they can break off if you're not too careful, but they snap back on easy enough. I guess that's why it's a looky, no touchy type of Lego set. And my last gripe is kind of petty, but I gotta say it, guys, because this thing is a black and shiny Lego set, it gets smudges on it so easy. And especially when you're putting it together, you're pushing your thumbs on a lot of these elements here, and they're so shiny and clean when you get it out of the bag. You're like, oh, I don't want to touch it, it's gonna be all smudgy. So I guess after you put it together, you can wipe it down and then put it in its spot there. And at that point, the biggest issue is going to be keeping the dust off of it. And if it's anything like the Batman Lego sets, that is gonna be quite the chore. Now, there is just one more thing I want to say in this video, and that is going to be the cost of this particular Lego set. At $350, that is a lot of money. And I think you guys are agreeing with me because I did my reveal video a week or so ago, and the majority of the comments were, of course, aiming at that very high price tag. And you know what? Rightly so. $350 is a lot of money to throw out at any Lego set, let alone one that's just going to be sitting on a shelf. But let me tell you guys this. As you can see behind me here, there are a lot of very expensive Star Wars Lego sets that are just sitting there gathering dust. And I love these Lego sets. I am happy to have them in my collection. For me, it's all about pride of ownership. And yes, I paid a lot of money for them, in many cases, twice as much as this thing costs. So I think that's where this thing comes in. It's going to really appeal to those adult collectors who are Marvel fans, specifically Black Panther fans, and that's just fine. I think if you're willing to pay the price for this thing and have it in your collection and have that pride of ownership, that is fantastic. And you know what? It's a great looking Lego set. There's nothing, I don't think anybody's gonna look at this and go, oh man, that's terrible, Lego did a horrible job. Now, I was a little confused why they chose Black Panther. I think there's other characters out there that would probably appeal to a wider audience. For example, Batman, I think would be a good selection. Darth Vader, Wonder Woman, even Iron Man. Those are all things that I think would be, would sell better, honestly. Nothing against Black Panther. Is a fantastic movie and obviously an awesome character. But Lego may be just betting on riding the wave of Black Panther 2 coming out, of course, in November. Time will tell, and we'll see how this goes. Big thanks to the Lego Group in providing me this early copy for review. Again, this is going to be available on October 1st, exclusively in Lego stores and lego.com. And last but not least, I definitely wanted to show you all where I ended up putting the Black Panther, and here it is in the upper back corner of the office. Let me back up here so we can kind of take this all in. Now, I gotta say that the Titanic is definitely still the centerpiece. However, I gotta say that Black Panther is very much a cornerstone because of its sheer size. Now, I will say though that it's very important to put it in an area that's bright. I was thinking about putting it in one of these shelves, but it was just too dark. It wouldn't look very good. So it has to be in an area where it has a brighter backdrop so you can really see it a lot better. All right, guys, now this being in the office, it's a high traffic area. There's a lot of electronics in here, which means this thing will probably gather a lot of dust in the coming months. So I probably will have to do a follow-up video to show some cleaning of this thing, because I'm sure that is going to be inevitable. All right, guys, that is it today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think about this thing. Is this something that you would want to pick up? Maybe wait for double VIP points or something like that when it's more of a better deal for you. Let me know. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts about this particular bust. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.